Hello, everybody. This is your DM, Dr. Mongoose. I hope you're all having a great day. This is just serving as a content warning for those who are sensitive to certain subjects. Please be aware that the following episode contains things like body horror, mentions of torture, mentions of blood and gore, and several uncomfortable situations around religious cults and potential human sacrifice. If these things are too triggering for you or something that you would find disturbing, please take care of yourself and try to enjoy our other episodes. Thank you so much, and we hope you enjoy.
Previously on Dances with Dice, when last we left our heroes, Eisen, the half-elf cleric, Karma, the tiefling wizard, and Emiria, the elven monk. They had prepared themselves as best they could, gathered their supplies, and said fond farewells. As the teleportation circle ends and they find themselves at the foot of a path less traveled for almost 50 long years, what awaits our heroes in that dark forest this week on Dances with Dice?
All right, so all of you are walking through the woods, and things get, I guess,
walking in the woods.
the encroaching, like the air becomes heavy, and like it's not difficult to breathe, but it's sort of like it's that there you can almost taste the unease on the air. The
Delicious.
trees overhead start to kind of grow inward and like not on the path, but they start to kind of like almost arch above it, as though the path itself was carved out of the trees of the forest itself versus the forest like kind of growing in around this pathway. I would like everybody to roll a perception check, please.
Perceptions. 12 plus 8. Soft 20.
Soft 20.
Soft 20.
Soft 20.
Modified 14.
Modified 14.
God, Hannah, why didn't you roll a 20?
I know, Hannah.
God.
Fucking karma, just ruining everything.
Karma. Everything I touch turns to dust.
Karma, the biggest thing you notice, there's, and you guys have been at this point, you've been walking for about maybe an hour or so. You have, and you're like in deep forest right now. Haven't heard a single animal. There hasn't been an errant snap of a twig. You haven't heard the rustling of bushes. Other than your own footsteps and the sounds that you make, it is silent as a tomb in this forest. Eisen and Emiria, just as you guys kind of break out of this like tunnel of trees for a moment and into like a little bit of a clearing, about an hour, maybe 90 minutes down as you've been walking, you both stop dead in your tracks as this strange, it's almost like an archway of trees, like two large oak trees, absent of all their leaves, have grown on either side of this path. They grow up about 10 to 25 feet high and form this arching sort of like tangle of branches and almost like appears as though they're like forming a gate without its doors. And you see hanging from the trees, you see four bodies just hanging from the boughs of these trees, almost acting like as grisly wind chimes. That sort of beckon you forward.
Is karma behind me or in front of me or?
I would say given the unease you all are feeling, Eisen, you and Emiria are probably up front as the more martial types.
Yeah, Karma's usually in the back just as the wizard,
Okay.
the squishy wizard.
Squishy wizard. I was gonna say, like, we both stop and I just imagine like Eisen's hand like or like arm going out, just like stopping. Like,
Clothesline.
Karma. Yeah, just,
Dude,
like,
the
grabbing-
mom thing
Yeah,
in the car.
the mom in the car, like
mom
seatbelt
arm.
thing. Oh my god, yes, the mom arm.
With both of you with the soft 20s, you guys with soft 20s, you guys will recognize this. The 4 bodies that are hanging, you see a half elf, an elf, a tiefling, and an air ganassi. They all look to be about your size. Age is difficult to tell. They've been out here for a while. The skin is sort of sunken and dried, almost leathery. And the thing that you guys notice around all their necks, you see 4 signs. And the signs read, consequences come. So it's on one side reads consequences, on another side come. The third one is despite. And then the fourth one is distance. And then you can see beyond, there's like a bit of a clearing in the woods, something of like a field, and you can make out maybe about another 1,000 feet into the field the start of these like walls of a building of some kind.
So, wait, are these meant to be a warning for us to not go further? Because they told us to come here.
I don't think it matters. Karma, can you scry on draft?
I think so, yeah. Hold on, let me just check off my spell slots. I teleported us here, so I gotta...
Teleport was a scroll you were given.
Oh,
you didn't use a spell
cool.
slot for that.
Oh, swag.
Why is draft even involved in this?
For standing too close to me.
So are these supposed to be people close to you?
Karma pulls out one of her draft specials and she's gonna cast scrying.
Okay.
And she's gonna.
I'll say just because you know draft very well. What's the maximum minus on a roll for scrying? Because you would definitely know her well enough. She'd be at max disadvantage.
Well, the connection, the knowledge gives me her -5, and having a possession of hers is a -4, so she gets a -9 to her save, and she'd have to beat a wisdom 21.
Okay.
If she didn't want to be scryed on. So she'd have to roll a 30.
Yeah, she rolled a soft 20, so she would have almost beaten it if it weren't for all the things. Your eyes do their thing, Karma, and
the red bleeds out.
The red bleeds out, and you're transported about 1,000 feet into the air. You find yourself back in the tower at the tipsy table. You see Draft; she's at her lab. Boots is kind of wandering around the lab. She reaches down and gives him a soft little scratch on the head. Please roll me a perception check, Karma.
That's an 11.
An 11? You think you hear her talking, you can see her mouth moving, but you're not 100% sure if it's someone else in the room, if she's just maybe talking to herself, talking to Boots, but she appears alone. Nothing out of the ordinary that you've seen from the times you've been in there. Everything seems fine.
Okay. I watch for a couple, however, how long does it last?
10 minutes, I think.
10 minutes? I watch for at least 5, just to see if anything changes.
5 minutes, roll another perception check. If you're staying in there the whole time, then a second
Amiria's
perception.
having a fucking panic attack that this is taking so long.
That's a 15.
You know how long scry lasts, so you would know that this is not abnormal.
But standing
15?
there for 5 minutes sucks.
15. With a 15, you can tell that she's whatever she was saying, she was kind of just cooing at Boots, just kind of little baby talk. He's who's the best little kitty in the world? Yes, I made you, but that still means you're the best.
Because I made you. Okay.
But yeah, so and then she like kind of hums a little soft lullaby to herself as she's like working, but nobody in the room that you can see, nothing out of the ordinary.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Cool. All right,
yeah,
then
just
Karma's gonna come out of it.
She's looks like she's okay. She's just talking to Boots, doing some work. It looked like she was alone. She didn't look scared. She didn't look like she was anywhere she was unfamiliar with. She looked like she was being held hostage or threatened, but she just looks like she's just going about her day. She's just hanging out with Boots, doing some magic, as far as I can see.
Right. Well, Tony's there. Barry's there. It's...
you have guards, you have protections.
You say
Everything,
that as the DM.
everything will be fine.
After playing that one shot, I think the
Barry's
the biggest,
there.
I was about to say Barry's there.
All Kat has to do is get her finger pricked, and then everything goes to hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, the everything as far as you're aware, 10 minutes go by, nothing's wrong.
Yeah. When Karma comes, she looks like she's fine.
Yeah. And during this 10 minutes, for both Amiria and Eisen, the sun finally kind of breaks through some of the cloud cover and burns away just a little bit of the fog. Amiria, you can see the very familiar exterior walls of the monastery, the large wooden gate that was there. Eisen, you see a fairly large complex, probably about the size of like maybe like a small elementary school almost. Like it's pretty big. There appears to be like some cloisters and gardens out front of the wall that are not the most well cared for, but there's still like some stalks of like tomato plants and beans growing there. The walls themselves are probably about 10, 15 feet high or so, solid stone. Looks like from all intents and purposes exterior, like maybe like a converted fort of some kind. It looks generally like a place that like, you stumble across it and you turn it into your own thing. Amiria, that iron gate wasn't there. Spikes on the walls weren't there. The walls have grown in height about 5 feet since you were last here. The gardens that used to fill the entire field in front of you, almost like 1,000 feet between the forest and there, used to be filled with food and various crops and flowers. Gone. And I would like Amiria, I would like you to roll a perception check, please.
21.
21. Like you kind of like crane your eyes a little bit, like squint a little bit. What's on the spikes?
Oh no.
Very.
Okay.
No. Just
Do you guys move forward?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
What order are you approaching in?
I'm gonna lead the way.
Okay. As you get about 200 feet from the wall, the weight of the air like just gets more and more oppressive as you guys approach. Like again, it's like there's nothing in the air. It's not difficult to breathe. It's just you can almost feel like someone attaching like maybe like little like quarter-pound weights to your entire body. As you start to get like a little bit closer, there's just something, and there's just the oppressive feeling in the air. And when you guys get about maybe like 200 feet, 150 feet from the wall, you can all see it. On each, every about 2 feet on the wall, there is a spike planted in the stone. All along the wall. And these walls stretch probably about around a good like 250, 300 feet to cover the entire complex. Every 2 feet or so, you see a head planted on a spike on top of the wall. The gate
Do we
has
see? Do we see any like distinguishing features of these heads?
roll a perception check.
Is a 21.
21. They're all humanoid. Like, there's not any, like, dragonborn heads or things like that. They appear to be, for the most part, human. You spy, like, one... you spy, like, a... you spy, like, some smaller skulls, which might be, like, gnomes or dwarves or things like that. A lot of, like... If, like, the bodies that were hanging were, like, at least kind of fresh, maybe had been hanging there for a couple weeks, these are old. Like, you see there's, like, a couple of, like, skulls on there that are just bleached white from the sun that have just been up there for... It's been a long time for them to be picked clean like that. It's a mix of humanoid skulls. There's a couple of animals up there. Like, you're pretty sure you see, like, a lizard person skull up there at one point. But just a variety of different body parts and skulls just kind of like up there on the wall. And then the biggest thing that strikes all of you is, like, even as you've gotten closer, it's still just silence. There's not a sound to be heard, both inside the walls, outside of it. You can hear every breath each of you take.
You know, I'm usually the guy running in. They obviously know we're coming. Should we even try to do something different? Or find another way in? Or do we
I
just
don't think so. I
walk
think they already
in
know.
the gate?
I'm sure we're
Walking
under some
into a
kind of
trap?
watch right now. Oh, absolutely. Of course we're walking into a trap.
Good, at least we all know what's happening.
Yeah.
They don't know that we know that they know that we know that they know.
Thank you, Karma.
I try.
As you guys approach the gate, I would like everyone to roll a medicine check, please.
Hey, that's a thing I can do.
That's the thing you're good at now.
Oh, bitch, I got a nat 20.
Hell yeah, that's a
Oh.
28.
Yeah.
What a good waste of a 20.
16.
16.
I'm
Modified
gonna be
19.
rolling ones and twos in combat. I'm gonna be fucked.
Modified 19. For Eisen and Karma, you just kind of look at it. It's just like, and Eisen, you even reach out and kind of like grab the gate a little bit and like give it a shake, and you watch as like a fine, sort of dusty, sort of like particulate come off the gate, and it's just like, it's almost like, why on earth would you have a rusty gate?
Oh my
Makes
god,
no
I made a joke about anthrax earlier. Is this
No.
gate covered in anthrax?
No, it's like why? It's like why would you not like how is a rusty gate still standing? Like, it looks like brown and covered in rust, and it's just like, how is this? Like, you're both looking at this. How is this still standing? Amiria, you look at it. That has been painted head to toe in blood. Just dried, old blood, just covering every square inch of the iron on this gate.
The decor was less disgusting the last time I was here.
I was about to say, this was a monastery? Like, what the fuck? It, like, takes his hand off, like, looks at it. It's just like...
It's like brown and crusty on your glove. Like, it's...
You should wash your hands.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Wipes
I'm
it
a
on
doctor
Karma.
now.
No, I'm just kidding.
Eisen, as you take your hand off the gate and you guys are all standing there momentarily, you hear just like a... and then the sound of like chains starting to pull as the gate begins to rise, allowing you entry into the courtyard. And it's frightening. It's startling because that's the loudest noise you've heard in the last basically 2 hours. And then once the gate has risen and like fully settled into place, and just like silence again. It almost like the sound of the gate opening almost echoes across this expanse.
Right.
All right, well. You guys ready?
Yeah.
As I'll ever be. Stay behind me, and I'm gonna lead the pack.
Okay. You walk into a fairly expansive courtyard. In its construction would have been beautiful. And there's like, it's, for the most part, everything's still there. There's still like kind of like a cobble, like it goes from like grass and dirt into a cobblestone courtyard. There's some overgrowth here or there. You see some wrecked, smaller buildings that might have been like storage huts or sheds at some point. There's a gate and guardhouse that have fallen into massive disrepair, which, Amiria, you even remember that from when you were here last. There wasn't really... It was a monastery. You didn't really need a big gate. There's no point to that. And you guys see in front of you one large looming building. It looks almost like... Eisen, it's like almost to you, it's like, that's a temple. That's a religious temple of some kind. But there's something wrong with it. It's clad, it's almost gripped, like a lattice running over it in just bands of this iron again, just like hammered into the stone, almost like a cage covering this entire building that runs almost to the very top. Like maybe like the roof is free of this, but like this very iron banded sort of thing. Amiria, you recognize without a doubt, because the courtyard has changed greatly since you were last here. Every building has been knocked down. You can still see some foundations lying around. Every single building has been knocked down now to build this pseudo temple sort of thing at the, basically in the center, almost like the center of the entire complex. What used to stand there were the meditation grounds. It used to be like a beautiful open field, rose gardens with a fountain in the center that sprang forth some sort of water with some sort of magical properties. Upon drinking it, it helped for a deeper meditation, more relaxing, allowed you to get more in touch with yourself. This entire building has gone up over that. And, you almost like you look around, it's like there was a place where you would, tend to people who like twisted an ankle on the road to Baldur's Gate. There's where there was the sleeping quarters, there was the barracks, there was the seed shed. That's where everything was kept for the gardening. And just you seen it's like walking into a ghost town almost, as everything you knew about this place is foreign and terrifying at the same time. The biggest thing that all of you see, that you all notice, is that kind of like midway between this pathway from the gate to this monastery, you guys see a platform, like a small little platform that has a large bowl in it, and in that bowl there's like an opaque sort of liquid, sort of like a brackish greenish sort of color, and other than that, that's the only like thing you guys see. Karma, roll me an Arcana check, please.
16.
16? Okay, you notice it. You notice like there's like a soft like sheen beyond this sort of plinth with the bowl in it. And you see there's like a transparent shimmering wall between the second part of the courtyard and the first part of the courtyard. And as you like walk up to it, you like throw a little pebble at it, and you watch as the pebble bounces off this invisible wall.
this so much.
Huh. Invisible wall right here.
Wait, what?
There's an invisible wall right here. She like knocks on it.
All right, I'm gonna investigate the brackish liquid.
Okay, roll an investigation check, please.
Investigation. Oh. 14.
14. Like you kind of peer into the liquid a little bit, and there's something at the bottom of the bowl that looks like a switch or a button of some kind. Not entirely sure. Some sort of mechanism is at the bottom of the bowl. The liquid in the bowl itself, upon closer inspection, it appears thicker than water. It's not water, whatever it is, but it's definitely not like, or it's not organic. It's not like blood or anything like that. It's not like sort of that thick, like a fudgy consistency. It's more imagine like a like one of those like powdered drinks that you can make, or like a protein shake, like you put something in water and it kind of thickens it a little bit. Something along that sort of consistency.
Gross.
Yes. The bowl itself, it's probably about a good like a good gallon or 2 gallon size bowl. Like it's fairly large. It's not filled all the way. It's only filled about a third of the way with this liquid. It can definitely hold more liquid. And around, and I guess, okay, with investigating, around the plinth, there are carvings. And the carvings are, it almost feels like an alternate history of like what happened after you left. You see 12 figures coming to the you see 12 figures coming to the monastery. They are being greeted by a single figure. And you watch as those 12 figures are ripped apart over like the plinth. You see like they're almost cut apart or sacrificed in some way. And at the very bottom, the base of this plinth, you see what appears to be some sort of like
The fuck?
very roughly carved sort of representation of the fountain that used to stand at where the building is now. And you see some sort of power emanating from it, and like all of these like body parts like posed around it and like constructed into this weird amalgamation of different bits and pieces, almost like they're trying to build a Frankenstein's monster or something. It's not super clear what it is, but you can kind of work out 12 people came and they did not leave.
Is this a monastery or like death cult? Like, what the fuck?
It's feeling very death cult.
This is new. It wasn't here when I was here. I'll tell you that much.
I'll say everybody can do this. Roll a history check. There's a very famous story about 12 things.
Jesus' disciples.
No, not that.
Just a flat 10.
10,
18.
Eisen's not very
18.
historical.
Modified 20.
Eisen, you're aware of like it feels like a very basic storytelling apparatus, and so like this could be any legend of any group of people. Like you get the gist of what you think it's going for in that regard. I had an 18 from Amiria. What was yours again, Karma? 20?
Modified 20.
Modified 20. Both of you look at this, and then you're struck by like an echoing memory in your head of what Amriel had talked about, and the 12 constructs that were made to protect humanity.
But
And you remember very specifically that one of the few that remained was other than himself, other than Amriel, was at Baldur's Gate.
It says that 12 came here and 12 didn't come out, but Amriel is out.
I don't think it means the constructs, like, actually them. You know, maybe it's a representation. Maybe they're building their own new 12.
Maybe 12 people came and they made the constructs that are... Maybe the constructs were made here.
Yeah,
But
the
this is new.
constructs are old,
Yeah.
ancient.
And this is new.
Amiria, you can tell. Also, I guess this would be very obvious. You can tell like that the individual they're meeting is very obviously a representation of the martyr.
Yeah.
So they
figured.
Yeah, they came. Whoever came here met the martyr.
This happened recently-ish. I mean,
The plinth is an addition. Is a recent addition. You're not.
I mean the event.
The event. You wouldn't know. It's something that it didn't happen while you were here, but it could have been before. It could have been after. You're not sure.
That's true. It could just be that it wasn't carved here. It was something that happened before, but it only recently got added as a picture here.
There's no way that the martyr was around when the constructs were made.
Okay, who is the martyr? Okay, that's something. There we go. Here's a new question. Who is the martyr? How did they get to this title?
The leader of the monastery, and I don't know. They were there before I was.
So, did they start the monastery?
No, God, no. That was.
Was there a martyr
before? Years before that.
Was there a martyr before the martyr? Is that just the name of the leader?
It's a title, but that is the martyr that I know. In the image. There was a martyr years ago, but that wasn't... She wouldn't be alive still. Well, she wouldn't have been alive then.
Well...
Eisen's just, like, doing the calculus above the brain. Just, like, failing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Unless she's pulling a Lady Andromeda, and pretending like she dies every single time, and then all of a sudden, whoop, ba-doop, ba-doop.
Usually I would joke that I know things better than that, but after what we've seen so far, I don't know if I know much of anything.
You would remember, Amiria, that the martyr was always steeped in secrecy, and it was very, like, sort of like pseudo, like, white people mysticism, like your Waco sort of things, where it's they weren't always all that visible. Their orders came through intermediaries, often like that, and whenever, like, you know, like, there's history written, like there was written history, but like the books that you read always described the martyr as, it was called the Glorious Sacrament. And then upon completion of the Glorious Sacrament, the martyr would take all of their knowledge and all the knowledge of all previous martyrs and transfer it into the new martyr. But no one was allowed to see that ceremony. It was just one of those things where, well, this is how it happened. And then, you know, an old martyr would always enter the room, and a young, like, almost like child or teenager would come out.
It's one of those things that you live there for so long and you don't question it, and then you spend 40 years on a boat and talking to people that aren't locked inside of a monastery, and then when you think about the weird things again, suddenly they're weird and they were normal before.
Are you sure this wasn't like a cult?
No, there wasn't anything dangerous about it.
how about we
Leave.
keep going until we find a actual living person to either ask questions to or make not living? Because I feel like it's gonna be one of the two.
I'll say this for both Eisen and Karma, because I'm going to assume that Amiria, you probably would have given the name of your order at some point. Both of you are just aware tangentially through history, like through just historical stuff and stories you picked up. The Monastery of the Eternal Light, it is absolutely a real order. It was 100% a real order. Like, you know, there's weird things about every religion, obviously, but like, you know, it's like this wasn't they're not known as a death cult. They're like, nothing like that has ever been really made available. The biggest thing that pops into your head is that basically about 30 years ago or so, they just kind of disappeared off the map. And like, no one had, like, you know, you still occasionally meet like a monk or two, like some, like an old advisor to like a king or something, like might have been a monk or studied there at one time in the days gone by, but effectively in the last 30 years, it's been radio silent. But it was a real thing.
Good.
How many skulls are there? When I turn around and I look up at the
Easily
spikes.
like 200.
Okay, cool. No doubt.
I wonder how long it's been that they just started killing people. How delightful.
I'll say, Amiria, you can roll another medicine check if you'd like.
Well, that wasn't good.
With advantage. You're at a place you spent so much time in that you know it.
17.
17. You would say the oldest skull. The oldest skull is probably about as old as the oldest member of the monastery that you remember, which is it was an elf about 150 years old. So the oldest skull you can find is about 190, given your time away.
Wait, so is that the age of the person or the age of how long the skull's been dead?
No, that's the age of the skull in general. So
Like,
they're
how
the
old the
person,
would have
how old
been.
the person would have been, and then additional years since death.
Oh.
Like the skulls on the walls and things, or just everywhere?
The oldest skull up on the wall is about 190 years old.
Hey, this sucks.
So
Hey, this sucks big time.
are we gonna assume that there's just nobody here and
Oh no,
everybody's
there's definitely
dead?
people here.
As soon
I don't
as
know
you
if I know anyone.
as soon as you say the words, is there anybody here? A gust of wind just like blows through the monastery grounds, just kind of buffets all of you momentarily.
Blah.
Loving this.
This
Karma pulls
is
in her
more
little
creepy
fur
than
thing.
I like.
Same. Alright. Is it stupid
Where
to put
to
my hand in
next?
the nasty water?
You are
Not you.
certainly
I'm asking them.
No.
Not you, TM. I don't want your thoughts.
Wait, what did you say?
Is it a stupid idea if I put my hand in the nasty water that has the button in it?
Maybe put something else in the water to press the button?
All I have is my nice sword.
There's
my
like
nice
there's
sword.
there's
There's gotta be
sticks.
like a stick.
There's a stick around. You can absolutely.
All right, I find me a
there's
stick.
enough wrecked buildings that you can find like a
What's-
spare stick or something.
Hey, Miria. What's brown and sticky?
What?
He pulls out from behind his back a stick.
I take it and then I hit him with it.
He just laughs.
Ah, yes, comedy in the spooky.
Hey, that's some grade A comedy right there.
Jesus Christ.
Apologies, I just got a soundbar in and Barney was eating the tape off the Amazon box and he will throw that up later if I don't stop him.
Yeah.
He likes when it sticks to his teeth. He's
a freak.
He's fucking weird. It's like he loves tape because it's like he'll bite it and then his mouth goes like nah, 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 and he really likes it when his mouth goes nah, 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 nah. And so he eats tape.
Get him some gummy bears
beautiful
or
little
something.
pervert.
I don't know.
Fucking asshole. Don't eat tape. Yeah, I'm talking.
It's like the equivalent of like people putting Elmer's glue on their fingers just so they can peel it off later. Like it's that like
Don't eat
Look at
tape.
that little tape pervert.
Little tape motherfucker. Little tape muncher.
I like how he's putting up with that because he still doesn't know he's being perceived.
Yeah.
If
He also
only he
kicked.
knew.
He also kicked over my little audio interface, so I almost lost you guys for a second. Okay.
I found a stick.
You take the stick. As you reach it into the water, as soon as it touches the water or like the liquid itself almost solidifies. Like you can force it and it like dips about like maybe like a quarter inch, maybe like an eighth of an inch into the water, but it's like it's like trying to drive like a pick through stone. Like it almost like solidifies, and as soon as you pull the stick out, it goes back to just like rippling, slowly moving water or liquid.
Mage hand.
Okay, you're gonna mage hand the stick or mage hand into the liquid.
Mage hand goes into the liquid.
Okay, same thing. You gets a little deeper, like the fingertips, like maybe up to the first knuckle, get into the water. And you can feel it, and then it just stops. And as soon as you pull the mage hand out, it is it's liquid once again.
Huh.
Fine, I put my hand in the water.
Same thing happens.
God damn it.
You can't. There's the simply reaching in doesn't seem to be the solution. There's something stopping you from just reaching in to press the button. It appears as though the bowl has to be drained in some way.
I drink the water.
You can't
get it out.
It's solidified. The bowl is solidified and stuck to the thing, which is like, this is very easily like a good like 3,000, 4,000 like pound apparatus.
I
Like,
said
it's
I drink the water.
You can't.
Okay.
I can't put my face in it.
I'm imagining that like your face would just get repelled the same way.
I imagine her face just like goes into it and then it solidifies and then she's like
as you like reach in, so Karma, as you reach in, like you pull up like a handful of the water and like you're able to like dig it out. Like you're able to like dig it out. It's like digging out like wet sand out of the ground, and as soon as you pull it up, it dissipates into dust. And then you watch as the bowl refills back to what it was originally full to.
Dispel magic.
Nothing happens.
I don't know. What are we doing with this bowl again? Is there something at the bottom?
There's a button.
There's something. There's a button or a switch at the bottom.
Okay.
Which probably is going to get us through the shield around the building.
Okay.
At least that seems like a decent guess.
And then
And how big is this bowl? Or how
probably
big is
about
this?
like I would say about 2 gallons or so, gallon and a half, 2 gallons. It's about a third of the way full. Basically enough for there to be about an inch of liquid, an inch and a half of liquid above the switch. And then the rest of the bowl is smooth on all sides. It's just like looks like a beaten copper brass bowl of some kind.
You can't pick the bowl up?
It's like it's been fused to its platform in some way.
I look around the room to see if there's anything that seems like it might go with this particular puzzle.
Everything
like a
around
straw.
you is just like ruined buildings, things like that. There's nothing that seems to fit in the bowl or anything like that. If you'd like, you can roll an investigation check on the bowl itself.
Ooh, yeah.
Do so.
Both Karma and Eisen can do that, as Amiria had already done hers. Or
Modified 23.
modified 23. Okay.
I'm not even gonna roll.
Okay.
I have a plus
Plus-
0.
oh, I have a plus 11 to investigation, guys. I should be the one
Wow,
looking at everything.
23 is low if you've got a plus 11.
Yeah, I rolled a 12.
I have a negative 1.
You feel,
I rolled a
Karma, you
5.
feel like kind of like the around the exposed part of the bowl. And like you're feeling with like your fingertips, and like you feel like every maybe 6 inches or so around the circumference of the bowl, an almost like imperceptible little like dip in the bowl itself. Like it's completely smooth and then like dips down. It's completely smooth, dips down again, completely smooth, dips down again, like all around the circumference, like the lip of the bowl, almost like at the very top. Like this thing would be almost full. For these bumps to come in contact with liquid.
Karma relays this information.
Okay.
So the bumps are at the top of the bowl?
Just, like, I would say like about like maybe an inch and a half down from like the upper lip of the bowl.
And they're just like little, like, bumps, like little
It's
holes.
almost it's like almost like indentations in the
Almost-
copper.
Almost like someone poked their finger on it. And
Yeah,
like, boop,
almost like
boop,
somebody
boop,
poked
boop,
their
boop, boop, boop.
Exactly. Almost like that. It feels like it's the only thing, like the bowl itself is perfectly smooth on all sides. Like shiny, smooth, like it appears brand new. It's very clearly old, but like it looks like a brand new brass bowl. No exposure to the elements, no rust, no pitting, no nothing. The only imperfections on this bowl are those indentations you found around the lip.
And it looks like the liquid goes up to that? Goes up to those bumps?
No, the liquid is about only a third of the way full of the bowl, but you could definitely try to add more if you wanted to see what those would do.
How many bumps are there?
Around the circumference, there's probably about like 6 around the full circumference of the bowl. It's about every 6 inches or so.
I put my fingers in all of them
Okay, you fill all of the bumps.
with my mini fingers. I just go, "Nyeh."
You kind of fill all of the bumps. You are pretty sure they're holes. You feel like you can almost feel like a little, like the tiniest little breeze running over like the tiny tip of exposed skin in your finger. That like when you put your finger in one of the indentations. So they feel like they might be holes, like almost imperceptible, but they're definitely there.
They're holes. I wonder.
To prevent it from overflowing?
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was wondering, if we had to get it that high in the holes, it would spill out of the holes. But I don't want to fill it back up if it's just going to be a hassle to unfill it to get to the button.
I mean, do you have create water?
I do not. I have mold earth. You put a rock in there.
You guys do have water skins that you can try to use if you'd like to fill it with that.
Fair
we
enough.
don't-
I just empty my fucking water skin. I don't need to drink anymore.
Yeah, okay, I guess I follow Amiria's lead. I dump out my water skin.
All right, all of you fill the thing with the water skins. You guys watch as the bowl fills almost up to those indentations. And then as soon as the bowl is filled, so it's probably about like 70%, 80% full at this point, you watch as like that brackish liquid almost like absorbs the water back into itself. The the liquid level drops down to where it originally was, and you're seeing like a soft pulsing glow of magic, and you see runes light up around the edges of the bowl. Karma, roll me an Arcana check. You would be the only person who would really recognize this.
Modified 8.
Modified 18. Okay. The runes you can see, it's a riddle of some kind.
Oh boy.
And it roughly translates, because it's old magic, so it's a rough translation, but it roughly translates to the bowl itself is basically telling you what it is, and it roughly translates to the unending thirst for magic. And you're able to kind of extrapolate with like your Arcana roll. It wants some sort of magical liquid.
Aw, bastards! Fine.
Berry special. No, I'm just kidding.
That's
it's
alcohol.
magical in a different way.
It's very magical, but for different applications.
Oh God, no!
I
pour one of my draft specials into it.
Okay. You watch as the liquid level rises maybe another like half inch or so, and you watch as the brackish green liquid starts to turn a little clearer, as though it's, and you watch like as your liquid hits, like the color leaves the potion immediately, and there starts to like form almost these like 2 layers of color as like the color and the magic is sucked out of the draft special, and all that remains is the liquid. But you notice that it's gone from like a dark brackish green to little bit lighter. It's not like dark green. It's more of like maybe like a foresty sort of green now.
I pull out, I have potions of healing. I have regular potions of healing that aren't draft specials. So I pull out 2 of those and I pour both of them in. Or I start pouring one in, and as it gets full, and I pour the second one if I need to, but I pour one of them in.
As you pour one in, it has much less of an effect.
Bastard!
It still happens.
It wants
but
drafts.
It wants stronger potions.
It's less about draft specifically. It's more that common healing potions are very common. Like literally like a 9-year-old with a little bit of magical know-how could make a healing potion if they had the ingredients. It's very weak magic. It appears as though the bowl wants something stronger or more potent, and drafts potions are more potent.
What about my potion of vitality?
You could give it a try.
Would you consider a fantasy grenade a potion?
Is the liquid inside magic?
It's listed as a potion.
It's technically a potion. Yeah, it's a bundle of vials together.
Isn't it technically a Molotov cocktail, but we just call it
kinda
a fantasy?
Yes,
but it's filled. But it's not like. But it's like
no, but
magical.
It is liquid. It is magical liquid filled vials. Like that was established. So you could try to pour that in.
I just read the fucking description on the fantasy grenades, and I'm so good. Do not count to 4.
I was very proud of those.
Potion
All right,
of Scorching
I'm gonna
Ray.
dump
I mean, that's a spell. That's like a level.
I'm gonna dump a fantasy grenade in it.
All right. As you uncork it, you watch as the explosive energy from the potion, because like that's the whole thing with these. They're very volatile. It's meant to be tossed and forgotten. It explodes almost at your face, but then the bowl itself like absorbs the elements, forcibly drags the liquid into it. The liquid level rises about another inch, maybe 2 inches. The bowl's now maybe about halfway full. And you watch as again, like the color again changes. It's gone from maybe forest green to a little bit of a lighter green, almost like dirty pond water or dirty ocean water sort of green, like that sort of coastal green you see.
God, you were looking at our inventories before this, weren't you? And you saw that we had so many goddamn potions. Okay, I'm gonna dump my potion of Hill Giant Strength.
Okay.
Oh, God. No, that's good.
The potion of Hill Giant Strength. You dump it in.
I paid good money for that.
You dump it in, and you almost hear like an echoing roar of a hill giant as you pour it in. You watch the liquid level rise almost to the holes, like almost to the top. It fills almost like 2/3 of the way full. There's probably about another like 4 inches of liquid before it reaches the holes. But that definitely at that point, like the water almost becomes like blue again. The liquid almost becomes like a clearish blue, as like the color is really coalescing at the very bottom around the switch.
Oh my god.
I'm going to shocking grasp and try to reach for the button.
Okay. Please roll damage on the shocking grasp.
Do I have to roll to hit?
Nope.
Oh, what is my damage on that, actually? Shocking grasp? 4d8. That's actually not bad.
It's an inanimate liquid. You're gonna be able to hit it.
Hey, you never know.
While he's doing this, I'm uncorking a potion behind him and just like, what are you doing?
Okay.
Because reasons. 7, 6, 4, and 4.
So that is 13. That's 21.
Yes.
Okay, so that would be cut in half. That would be how much? That'd be 10, because we round down. Just can't divide 21 by 2, so 10. You take 10 points of lightning damage as you drive this spell in, and then you can get your arm down to where the color is.
No, I wanted it to absorb the magic.
It wants magic liquid.
Yeah, no, it does. That's not how it works. You can actually
Karma,
everyone
pee in the
will
bowl.
everyone will notice this. You plunge your hand into the bowl. It reaches basically to almost the button, like about an inch from the button, and that's where like the color remains. And then you meet that same wall of force, and as soon as the magic plunges into that like area of color, it reverberates back up your arm. And it's not the full power of the spell. The whatever liquid you've poured into it dulls it a bit, but you do take 10 points of lightning damage as the spell reverberates back on you.
Bitch.
So here's what we're not gonna do, is hurt ourselves before we get our asses kicked.
Do you need a draft?
I-
Do you
I-
need a draft special?
I drink a draft special.
Okay, go ahead. Roll it. Just feel free to roll it.
Alright,
And then...
and I am going to dump my potion of cold resistance.
Okay. The liquid fills almost up to the bowl, and you watch as it almost ices over at that point. A thin little sheet of ice forms on top of the liquid and then cracks and then melts down. There's the color has turned almost like blue, white, clear. You can make out more of what the actual button is. It's like a button you push down that would actually like slide out of the bowl and then would invariably like release the liquid. It's like almost like a plug at the bottom of the bowl. The color is now basically surrounding the button at this point.
Alright, does anyone have something not super expensive?
I have another healing. I have another healing potion, and I have a draft specials and stuff.
What you've seen work so far, just so everybody has the information, is any like specific potion and any draft special. So anything that's had a little bit of extra work poured into it.
Ugh.
So fancy shit.
Fancy shit.
Slightly fancy, yes.
Alright, I've got another draft special if somebody doesn't have anything else they're willing to.
I have a draft special.
Yeah, I mean, I changed my mind. I drank one of the potions of healing that I had, and I'll pour one of my draft specials because I have 5.
Okay. As you pour that in, the liquid reaches the indentations, and you watch as all the color is sucked out of the bowl finally, and now it just appears to be a clear liquid. And you can see that button at the very bottom, perfectly square, that matches the stone of the plinth that the bowl is sitting on. Would anyone like to reach in and try to push it?
I'll do it.
All right, you reach in, you push, and you as you push in, you watch as all the liquid drains out of the bowl and onto the ground, and you watch as this liquid that it's now like coalescing and sparking with magical energy run up this invisible wall that's in front of you, and you watch as this wall just like melts away almost like rain. You can see like almost like a wall of water starting to slowly melt away and drip down. And as all of this happens, you hear like that click. You watch as the door in front of you to this large monastery, this cobbled together building, unlocks and swings open about an inch, beckoning you in. And that is where we will end our episode for today. Thank you all so much for joining us for another episode of Dances with Dice. Please follow us on all of our social media channels at Dances with Dice. When you use the hashtag DWDcast or DWDart on any social media platform, we will use named NPCs in the show. Thank you for joining us. Remember, join us every single Tuesday for new episodes of Dances with Dice.